Okay, so I put a little Ask Me Anything on Instagram, like I do sometimes, but this time I wanted to do things a little bit different. This time I wanted to center it around a central topic.
What's up, Greg?
Hey, dude. Oh, God. Influencing in the wild. Anyway, like I was saying, this time I wanted to center it around a topic, and the most asked question is generally how sort of to get this job and how you can be doing this from beginner all the way up to advanced. So all the questions I picked are centered around that topic. We're going to get into things like pricing. We're going to get into things about how to get into this industry and how to get your first client. And also talking about things like, is it better to go the agency or the freelance route for you? So if that's something that you're interested in, hit that like button and let's get into the first question. Ultimately, you're asking the wrong question. The real question that you should be asking is, how do you get the first client? Because the reality is these series don't issue credentials if you don't actually need to be here in a professional capacity. Now, getting your first client in a series like this is a lot easier said than done. And I have an entire video sort of dedicated to that. So I would recommend you go watch that, but I'm gonna share a little story about how I sort of got my first client. Now, everyone thinks they need to be sort of on the professional side of the fence to get good content, and that's just not true. For me, it started by shooting as a fan first. And it doesn't even need to be a professional racing series to get professional clients. The two sort of pillars that I think everyone is looking for when they're hiring content creators is they're looking for speed of delivery and they're looking for creativity. Neither of those things are exclusive to professional levels of racing. For me, my big break came from something I created from fan areas at an oval series in Nashville. I made this cool little stop motion graphic deal to introduce some of the drivers. I wasn't being paid to do it. It wasn't for anything. I was just trying to sort of be creative and come up with new things. That one video that I wasn't being paid to do, wasn't being commissioned to do, caught the attention of the sort of PR person at the Heart of Racing. I've now worked with them for 4 years. They've taken me all around the world, to the Middle East, to Europe, here in the States, Canada, all because I shot one weekend as a fan and was trying to be as creative as possible. Once you build up your portfolio from those fan areas, it's sort of time to make a decision on if you want to go full freelance or if you want to go the agency route. All right, the next question, should you go freelance or should you go agency? Now the answer to this question is somewhat personal to you. It sort of depends largely on what you want out of all of this. And so there are obvious benefits to both. The agency route is a little maybe safer, especially when you're starting, because you don't have to go out and try to find clients, right? The agency usually provides the clients. They also handle a lot more of sort of the legwork to get you to the weekend. But with the freelance route, you have significantly more freedom. And generally speaking, in my experience anyway, you get to keep a bigger piece of the pie. You make a little bit more money in that route, but you take on significantly more risk. So a lot of it's just deciding what level of risk you're comfortable with and going from there. Now on to one of the hotter topics that everyone always wants to know, right? How much can I charge for this? What is the most I can charge and actually make a living at this? And to start that conversation, you sort of have to note that you have to be honest with yourself, right? Not just about sort of how talented, where your sort of talents are at this point, but also with how fast you can deliver this stuff. Because a big part of how much money you can make on any given weekend is how much are you able to produce, right? If you're able to produce 2 reels a weekend versus 4, you're able to make a lot more money the more reels that you add on. Things like your travel costs and things like that don't go up based on how much work you add. So your maximum sort of earning potential is met by the most work that you're able to produce. Now, on an individual basis, what does that look like? In my How to Get Clients video, I talk a lot about how you break down your products, right? You itemize your products and your deliverables and you charge accordingly. But generally when people ask this question, they're referring to reels, right? How much do I charge for a reel? And again, it's very skill dependent, right? So like when people usually ask, you know, it's not that easy to answer because I don't know where everyone's skill is. But I will say this, when I was first starting out and I was brand new, I was charging roughly $8.95 US per reel. And at that time I was completing roughly 5 to 6 per weekend. Now that wasn't the only packages I was selling. I was also selling clips packages and long form stuff. But because when most people ask, they're referring to reels, that's about where I was when I started. And I should note this has always been when I was sort of strictly in the freelance world. This wasn't as part of an agency. This is just what I needed, right? I looked at my costs during the week and I said, I can make 6 to 10 reels. Here's how much I need to charge to make the money that I want to make. You see, you've only got sort of so much time in the day, right? And when you're brand new and you're freelance specifically and you're first starting out, you sort of think that you have to say yes to everything. And that's the situation I found myself in a couple of years ago. I felt like I was saying yes to everything. You know, you always fear it's going to dry up. So I was saying yes to stuff I probably shouldn't have, and I sort of overloaded myself. The problem with that is that you don't really think about is that you have to think of it in terms of quality as well. Like, I could physically make 3 to 4 reels a day, but the more that I produce per day, the lower that quality starts to go. And if you dip to a point sort of below where the client's expectation is, it can get really bad really fast. Not to mention you're going to start to feel burnt out, which also lowers the quality of your work. And ultimately, it's not a good situation for you or for your clients. So my advice to sort of get out of that is pick the projects that you know are going to fund you to be there, and then start to get selective with the pieces that sort of get you to that cap on your time. If you do that, you'll have a much better time of all of it. The last thing I'll sort of say is there's no replacement for just sort of being obsessed with this stuff. I think early on for me, I was consuming so much educational content, and that helped propel me forward a little bit quicker. I was learning constantly, I was trying stuff, and that obsession sort of got me where I am today. As is the case, most things that happen super fast aren't worth it, and this industry ultimately is one of those. You have to put in the work, you have to put in the time. Hold on. And if you do that, hopefully you get where you want to go. I appreciate you watching this one. If this information was helpful or you want me to do more of these in the future, feel free to hit like, hit subscribe, do the whole thing. I got to finish work for the day, but hopefully I'll see you at the track soon.